You know how in like sitcoms back from like the 90s, there's always an episode where they like go to Disney World?
No.
What? You never? There's like Full House episodes where it's like they went to Disney, and it's just like, oh no, one of them got lost.
Tyler, man, I think you're mistaking me for someone who watches sitcoms, who enjoys sitcoms.
What TV show do you think now should have an episode where it's like they go to Disney World?
We need to go to Disney World to catch a predator.
Oh, God! Oh my God! Jesus. I really thought you were going to say this. I wrote it down on a piece of paper in case I was right.
Gotham? An episode of Gotham where they go to Disney World?
Okay.
No. All I picture is like...
Welcome to my viewers! Oh yeah, everyone would have to get like poisoned and die. Yeah. They all ate at Tony's. That's it! That's the start of the Ride Rehab!
You're listening to Ride Rehab on WDWNT.com. And now, here are your hosts, Tyler Mann and Thomas Kiernan.
Penguin and the Riddler, they take over Tony's, and then they start running an operation out of there.
Yeah.
There's not enough to work with.
There's like, Mr. Freeze, where is he? He's hiding out in the Matterhorn. I know that's Disneyland.
Jim Gordon's like, ugh, I don't like this place or whatever. Harvey Bullock's like, lighten up, Jim. It's Disney World. Come on. Wait a second. $40 for a something?
We gotta go and figure out the doctor
Excuse me,
at
sir, you can't
Rafiki's Planet Watch. Lee, what are you doing here?
Lee Tompkins is Dr.
He's a veterinarian now.
Or whatever, yeah. Well, one day I'll write a vague outline of an episode of Gotham that takes place in Walt Disney World or something.
Oh my God! Welcome to Ride Rehab, the WDWNT podcast
about Gotham. Apparently,
welcome to Ride Rehab, the Gotham podcast, the show where we ridiculously reskin rides at Walt Disney World. My name is Tyler Mann.
And I'm Thomas Kiernan. And every single episode, we put ourselves into the shoes of Imagineers to find out what we could fix with infinite time and money.
That's right. Now, management doesn't like that we're doing this, so we're constantly on the run. And this episode, we're actually recording from, we're at the bus stop number 2 at Coronado Springs. We were planning on doing it from Epcot, because it's going to be an Epcot episode, but, like, every bus that has passed us has been for, like, Typhoon Lagoon. Oh, wait.
Or Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. No, okay. That one's a Disney Springs bus. Oh my gosh. It takes forever. We're going to be here a while. So this episode is going to be just the tiniest bit different because we are going to be revisiting our very first episode, which was about Future World and Epcot. I listened to it again recently and I'm like, wow, we got a lot of things right.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, there was a lot of things we got wrong. Basically, Disney actually listened to us, and they made some changes.
Disney definitely listened to this exact podcast and made changes according to what we said, and definitely not just the natural changes which they think might be necessary for the parks to continue.
I think if anything in the past few months have proved anything is that Disney absolutely listens to this podcast and other programs on the website that we're a part of.
Big Brother vous regarde.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, so we're gonna go through some of the stuff we talked about in our Epcot Future World episode. We're gonna see what's changed and what's different and what actually we predicted would be right, and some of our absurd ideas. Some of them are funny, some of them are actually true. And at the second half of the episode, we're actually gonna be going through listener mail, because people give us reviews and people tell us what they like about the show and they come up with their own rehabs, and we don't actually do it too much on the actual episodes. So we're going to go through some of your mail and we're going to read some of your ridiculous ideas and we'll see what's feasible.
But let's dive right into it.
Yes. Okay, wait, hang on. What bus is that? Okay, that one said Universal. That's just weird.
Wait, is that Disney security chasing that bus?
Yeah. There goes a minivan with flashing lights on top. It's like bow tie police lights.
Bow tie police.
Because it's Minnie Mouse. She wears.
I got you.
She wears I said bow tie. Is what you wear on your head a bow tie?
No, that would be. I think they just would call that a bow.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the first thing, do you remember the very first thing we talked about when we talked about Future World?
It was the stone monuments.
Yes.
The memorial for all the people who died at Epcot.
You called it Holocaust memorials.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like. It looks like a grim, miserable
Yep.
thing.
It looks like gravestones.
It looks like gravestones. It looks like these... If I walked into a graveyard and saw those, I'd be like, yeah, those look right.
Okay, so we talked about the Holocaust memorials, which is leave a legacy. We said you should just push them out of the way or get rid of them entirely. Disney listened, and they met us in the middle. They're moving them outside of the park, so they're pushing them out of the way, but completely out of Epcot. They're keeping them, but they're just keeping them elsewhere.
Now, the real question is, are they going to put, like, some visible plaques around that say, this is Leave a Legacy, where
hopefully
people who, I don't know, kickstarted Epcot or whatever, added to our GoFundMe for Epcot, paid their money, and so we took their faces and put it on these rocks.
You know, as of recording this, they're redoing like the tram loop, because when you park your car, you get on a tram and then it takes you to the front gate. It's probably just gonna line the tram loop, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm not part of Disney Parks management. We just broke into their offices and stole a bunch of documents.
Yeah, we don't... there's other people at this bus stop. The next thing we said was, keep the fountain. They listened to us, and they're doing a better version of the fountain the way it used to look.
Oh, I see. They are renovating the fountain.
Yeah.
See, because my thought is, you can't just move the fountain, because you have to deal with, like, water flow and piping and plumbing and things like that. So you can't just, like, rip up the fountain and pour concrete over it. I mean, you could, but yeah. I feel like that would cause some structural problems. But I don't know. Good for that, I guess. I'm not too nuts about the fountain.
Well, you don't even you walk right past it. That's
for the most part. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe now with these renovations, they'll improve it, and they'll be like, oh, look at that fountain, that's neat.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, time to go to Cool Club and pound back some Beverly. I need something
no, remember, it's gone.
Oh, that's right,
it's gone now.
As we're recording this episode, they're out of Beverly.
Yeah,
and they're also almost out of Club Cool.
Yeah, they're. All right, the next thing that we said was that I said I'm fine with IPs coming in.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Ratatouille, Guardians, Zootopia, like it's all coming in. It's all coming into Epcot. I think I said that at the
Zootopia's going to be in Epcot?
Yeah, we're in the Play Pavilion. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
The next thing, the front gate area should have places for people to sit and enjoy. That's what they're doing, because, you know, it's going to be beautified with greenery and, like, cherry blossoms or whatever those pink kinds of trees are.
That's going to be a real draw for people. It's going to be like...
shade.
And shade.
It's going to have... We're going to have trees in the front gate for once.
But it's also like... You know how here in Toronto we have cherry blossom trees? Mm-hmm. High Park has a specific time of year where they're like, we've figured out exactly when this is going to happen, or we know the approximate time this is going to happen, and everyone goes to High Park for the one day that the cherry blossoms bloom.
Yeah.
And then that they can have that. They can make that a little event. They can make that a little ticketed
that'll
event
be its
or
own
something.
festival.
Yeah.
You have to get a separate ticket to walk through the front gate.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, guys, it's Cherry Blossom Day. Extra tickets.
All the cosplayers are like, yes!
All the Florida cosplayers.
The next thing
that way it would be a Japan Pavilion event as well. Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, but anyways, we're
yeah, that's what Japan needs. More places to spend money. Simon's just dropped the Spaceship Earth sponsorship. Remember when they were like, we want to renew it. We'll give you monorails. And Disney's like, no. And they're like, bye. That just happened when we recorded that first episode.
Yes.
And we're like, something's going to happen. And here we are, like a year and a half later. Nothing's happened. A year and a half ago, we said, we'll talk about Carousel of Progress.
Didn't we?
And we just recorded the Tomorrowland episode.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we barely talk about Carousel of Progress.
No, I think we talk a fair amount about it. We talk about the important things about Carousel of Progress that we like.
Yes. We said we should get someone else other than Judi Dench, but then I said, you know, Judi Dench will be popular later on, and we just watched the trailer for Cats.
Oh, yeah. Cats just came out. Judi Dench is in that. So is Ian McKellen and a bunch of hard-working actors.
You said, We should try and avoid the commercialism.
We should try to avoid the commercialism
Of Epcot.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would become
The commercializing
Epcot.
of Epcot. Yes.
Another. You know what? Disney did not listen to us on this one.
No, absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
They heard the first part of the show where I'm like, I'm fine with IPs. And they're like, well, this guy's good. And then you're like, we should avoid commercialism. And they're like, no, that
That's
doesn't
kind
align
of
with
our
our
whole
values.
business. We're a corporation. It starts with the same letters.
Again, I'm fine
that's
with Ratatouille and
Oh yeah,
Guardians
no,
coming
I'm
in.
okay. Listen, the IPs aren't the commercialism part. The commercialism part is the dismantling of the experimental prototype community of tomorrow ideas and the I don't know.
The last thing we knew was that it was gonna be a Guardians coaster. We now
Yes.
know a lot more. And
Yes.
if you want to know a lot more, you should totally go to www.nt.com. I mean, unless you don't want to know what's going to happen. Because I was like, people think it's just going to be a coaster. And I was like, no, the whole building that you launch out of is going to have so much more. And we know what's going to be in it. And there's going to be a meet and greet. There's going to be a shop and so on. So that was cool. And we know it's going to launch backwards, supposedly, which should be pretty cool. I said, leave Wonders of Life alone and build a festival center. And we were kind of right, because the Odyssey is now gonna be that festival center area. Wonders, this past time we went, remember now it's like the Garden Terrace, and that's where they're selling merchandise and stuff. There was no festival center. I
Conventions.
called Bugsy /Bugsby.
Okay.
And I apologize.
It doesn't.
About a year and a half ago, I was not as well versed on Cranium Command as I am now.
Well, now it's.
I couldn't recall his name off the top of my head.
I was going to say now it's. Or did we record after he got stolen or?
No, which brings me to the next point.
Yes.
I said, isn't it crazy that Buzzy is still there?
Apparently he wasn't.
I said he's still there in that empty theater. A year and a half ago, I reported Buzzy is still there, and it only took a little bit of time for him to vanish entirely, to the point we did a whole role-playing game segment off of it.
I mean, yes, he's gone.
Oh my god.
That's the most amazing thing to me. That someone managed not only to steal from the Walt Disney Corporation, but they were able to steal an animatronic.
The next thing I said was that they're building a space restaurant, but they should not be putting it in the Wonders of Life Pavilion, and they didn't. They decided to build it on the other side and just build a whole new area, which is kind of cool. And I would love to go in that restaurant. Okay, the next one is another one of I want to apologize. Mm-hmm. I yelled, "What is Gina Torres's name?" Gary Sinise says his name. No, he doesn't.
There you go.
I reviewed it. He does not say his name. He just says, "Hi, I'm your Capcom." He also said Capcom. So I want to apologize.
You want to apologize to Firefly star Gina Torres?
I would like to. Yes, she's definitely listening. I want to say, Gina, I'm very sorry. I'm fine with you being the person who launches me into space and not knowing your name. I'm fine with you being my Capcom for this fictional simulated training mission where I don't actually go to space. So I'm sorry, Gina Torres. The next thing was the Land Pavilion. We said there was that Circle of Life movie that we didn't watch, and we never will again.
But we knew that was closing when we went.
No,
we didn't.
It was still open the first time, and then by the next time we went, it was closed,
that
and we
makes
had a
sense.
moment of silence.
Yes.
You said that the Circle of Life film is called Irritainment, which
Oh, yeah.
is irritable entertainment.
Yes.
And I really loved that. I think that should be a coined phrase.
Yes.
That wasn't like a prediction. I just really thought that was funny.
Irritainment. We can make that into a button or a t-shirt.
Yeah. I said you should make it a Groot-themed movie. Mm-hmm. They didn't take our advice. You said they should take IPs out of that movie entirely, and that's what they're doing. Awesome Planet is going to come out. in that theater.
There you go.
And it looks like at the moment there's no IP shoved into it. So good job, Tom.
I did.
Another point. Where's our bell?
Where's our scorecard?
We forgot it in the hotel room.
Well, we don't have a hotel room. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Sorry, we forgot it in someone else's hotel room that we're squatting in.
We said if you got rid of the Lion King from Circle of Life, who's gonna watch it? No one's already watching it when it's the Lion King. So if you took out the Lion King, who would watch that version? I guess we'll find out.
I guess we will find out. Maybe, hopefully, if they get like the Planet Earth team on it or something, like the people who shot Planet Earth and Planet Earth 2, and some nature documentary stuff, and then got David Attenborough to narrate it, people would go to that every single day.
You say who shot it. Most of those are like footage that other people had filmed. They basically buy stock footage.
Do they?
That's sort of what happens.
Planet Earth has this whole like making Planet Earth documentary where we see the camera crews filming all the stuff.
I might be thinking of the like those Disney nature documentaries. A lot of those are footage they buy off of other companies.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And then they compile them, and then they add like their narration and music and everything.
Well, they can still like buy the Planet Earth stuff, I guess.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing. It could just be like Planet Earth footage. We don't know if people went out and shot new footage for this.
Yes.
The last thing that I said was, well, we can do a small episode about World Showcase because it's short enough to talk about. And then we promptly recorded a 3.5-hour episode that we had to break into 2 parts.
I do remember that.
That was wonderful.
It took us a very long time to talk about World Showcase, but to be fair, there's a lot of pavilions there.
Well, that's it for our little recap of Future World. So the things that have changed, I mean, we now know that the Play Pavilion is going to be moving into Wonders. We now know more about the Guardians coaster. So the Play Pavilion is supposed to be going into where Wonders of Life is. They plan on just, gutting everything that was there. And they're going to have, I guess, it's focused around the idea of play. There might be some Zootopia hotel heist themed attraction. There might be a lot of interactive elements and such. It's sort of up in the air because they just like hastily released this concept art after like Universal released that this Hagrid thing is going to open and everything, or there's going to be a new Hogwarts thing. Disney and Universal went back and forth for a bit, trying to one-up each other on news. Eventually, Disney was like, okay, well, here's new concept art for Epcot and the Play Pavilion. And supposedly, from what we've heard, they were not ready to show anything yet, so this was just really blue sky concept art. And it looks like the inside of the internet from Wreck-It Ralph. I don't know. I don't really... So what if Epcot is... Future World is just going to be, let's shove in whatever we can, wherever we want. If it's going to be your Hollywood studios of kind of interactivity and stuff, sure. Play Pavilion, I'm all on board for some new interactive stuff.
I can't wait for them to just have a bunch of Xbox Ones with Disney Infinity playing on them.
Oh, so they're just going to move them from the exit of that Star Wars theater?
They're just going to get more of them and put them around.
Quick! How are they going to get it?
God,
because they don't manufacture those anymore.
Xbox Ones?
That, and also Infinity.
Well, they just use all the surplus figures that they have in the back.
They said, let's get more Infinity stuff. And someone went, what's Disney Infinity?
Yeah.
That's
all I'm going to say. Like, the concept art looks pretty good, but, I mean, that's just the talent. That's just because artists are talented people who deserve respect. But I don't trust it. It looks like the cyberpunk future. It looks like it should say, like, buy Dole Whip. Remember, the mouse is watching. Only unscrupulous people are out after curfew.
And remember what Yahtzee Crashaw says? Magenta. There's a whole lot of magenta in here.
There's always magenta in cyberpunk. It's teal and magenta. Those are the cyberpunk colors. It's the perfect place to introduce Overwatch into the parks.
Because they have the streaming rights,
and because it's video games.
Yeah,
and because it's themed to Let's Play or Play or whatever. And by Let's Play, it's I mean those words together mean video games.
So what you're saying is they definitely heard our Great Movie Ride episode, and they're going to take the Overwatch ride concept we came up with, where we're the payload, and put it here.
No, they're going to have some Overwatch character meet and greets. and a few Overwatch themed, or not an Overwatch themed.
Great.
No.
A themed attraction around a heist? I'm on board. That sounds cool.
I feel like it's going to be disappointing. I feel like.
Oh yeah, probably. The next one is like Ratatouille. We didn't know that when we recorded the episode. That area is shaping up to look pretty good, and I think the ride is going to be really fun. Especially because it's like I know people have said like there's not enough physical sets but like you can't capture the pacing and the frenziness of Ratatouille without having a few video screens. I think it still looks like it'll be fun.
I mean,
and they're expanding a pavilion. Like there's going to be a new sort of area of the France pavilion. That's really cool.
And another pavilion is going to have a ride.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the show.
Yeah,
but to have a physical like ride attraction.
Yes, yeah. I think that's lovely. More to do, and it certainly looks like it looks like my kind of ride, where it's just kind of like a fun dark ride.
Yeah, it's a trackless.
Yeah,
dark ride, a la Mystic Manor.
Yes.
Yeah,
it should be good. Should be fine. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be great.
That new restaurant opened in Japan. The review that we had on WDWNT was like, wow, this is very overpriced.
Yes.
I think the last thing we know about Spaceship Earth, how it's going to get a makeover for 2 years. But I think the biggest thing was that I think we made it pretty clear that the term rumor is not to insinuate anything hostile or to say this is definitely happening. If the land and seas were to close, I would be very glad to see what they're making way for it, because there's a lot of land on those two giant pavilions, especially with the number of attractions in the pavilions that take up a certain amount of space. What could possibly go there? If it's going to be a play pavilion instead of like science, then what could possibly go over there in the imagination area? If it's probably just going to be, we're going to make a giant IP themed ride, fine, go for that. You have the blessing of size, as we always say.
They're more gamer stuff. They're going to be like, here's where we're going to have our LAN network, or I guess you can just call it a LAN network, and we're going to have Overwatch tournaments every Friday or something, and then that'll entice people to come.
like a new kind of theater.
Not a theater, kind of a theater, but like for
what,
gaming.
A Future World theater would be cool.
Maybe.
Because the only theater we currently have is the one outside American Pavilion. It's American Gardens. That's where the Guardians of the Galaxy show is currently taking place. Outside the America Pavilion in World Showcase.
And there's the Kodak Theater, right?
Yeah, but that's not really like a flex space. It's not, because it's permanently right now the Pixar Short Festival.
Yes.
Which should have an imagination themed attraction or a show or movie in it, but having like just an outdoor venue.
Aren't the Pixar shorts imaginative and inventive enough by themselves? Isn't that good enough for you?
Maybe swap them out for the new ones. It's
Isn't
the
it
same
good enough
shorts.
for you?
It's been the same shorts for like 5 years. They make new shorts. Put the new shorts in there. Anyways,
Can't. Just can't.
Yep. So
just like we can't build Epcot to Walt's dream. We just can't. we wouldn't know what that would be.
Why don't we just do this? Why not this? Can't. Why?
Can't.
Like, I think it's been fun here revisiting Epcot for a little bit. Not actually visiting, because a bus has not come yet.
Oh, yeah. We're at this bus stop, and there's been no buses that have come by.
They're all like Disney Springs or Blizzard Beach. No one's going to Blizzard Beach. I don't think I've ever been at a bus stop where someone has gotten on the bus for Blizzard Beach.
Wait, that bus that's coming by, over there.
Yeah?
Is that a bus for the Jesus place?
Oh, yeah, Holy Temple Experience.
Wow.
Anyways, we get some reviews, and we got some comments, and we got some emails from people who watch our show, also with some of their own suggestions and ideas. So we're going to go through a few of them. So This email comes from Amanda Harper, who says, this is in relation to Countdown to Dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, hello, rehabbers. I guess that's the term for us.
Sure.
I've been enjoying the show since the beginning. Thank you. And after listening to the last episode, I have some ideas. I like both the ideas to change Dino Land to either South America or Duckburg. However, I think South America would fit the park. I think Disney Sea's Raging Spirits would be the great addition to take the place of Primeval Whirl. Well, I don't know if you know this, but Primeval Whirl has closed due to unexpected maintenance for like another 3 months or something.
I can't believe that a carnival attraction built out of, I don't know, built out of nothing but poles and screws somehow needs maintenance.
Hastily taken down from the
a fairground attraction that's supposed to be built in 24 hours, taken down after a week, and then shipped off to the next town.
It was brought right over from the Norfolk County Fair.
The
rest of the area surrounding the ride can be themed to interconnecting stalls or tents for the sale of merchandise and snacks. Yeah, you gotta sell those snacks.
Sure, why not?
The area will also have a natural spring watering hole previously thought to be the Fountain of Youth. Ooh, that would be good. A whole area themed around like that sort of legend would be cool. 1 or 2 small attractions for the whole family that's not a spinner. The dinosaur dig site can be changed to possibly an exterior temple-themed dig site play area, with the interior portion can be used as a nursing station / sensory relief area. I'm all for that.
Okay.
Absolutely. The Dino Institute would be changed to an eccentric billionaire's home or museum to cryptozoology.
Ooh.
And maybe paleontology. Paleontology.
They're not necessarily different fields of study.
Yeah, so Animal Kingdom can keep all the themes it was conceived with. Inside, he's giving a personal tour of his collection to guests when a curious Incan artifact starts to bring things to life, like Mystic Manor. That's all I've got. Keep up the good job. Thanks, Amanda Harper.
Perfect. So that was about
I would love a I think I read this email and I was like, you know what? I'm going to build Dinosaur in Planet Coaster, but I'm going to theme it to cryptozoology.
Uh-huh. And
I think I called it like Paranormal Inc. or something. And it's, you know,
I feel like that's been taken. I feel like someone
probably.
Somewhere else has taken Paranormal
It's probably
Inc.
a comic.
It is. It's probably someone's webcomic from 2001 or something.
I would love that though. You get on some kind of like slightly modern but kind of futuristic ride vehicle instead of like the Time Rover, which is very 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You get on like this other kind of vehicle and you drive into just like a forest, like we built this facility at the edge of this forest where there's a ton of spooky activity. Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's Slenderman. I don't know. Like
Slenderman's not a cryptid, but
is he? What's
Slenderman's a creepypasta.
Is that what SCP stands for?
Creepypasta?
Yeah.
No, SCP is a completely
Secure,
different
Contain,
thing.
Protect.
Yes.
My bad. I thought CP was like creepypasta.
No.
Anyways, thank you so much for your email, Amanda. If you want to email us, just email riderehab@wwnt.com.
Send your complaints to riderehab@wwnt.com.
The next one comes from Daniel Bodenstein. This is about our Tomorrowland episode. This one's very long, so I'm just going to highlight some of the stuff he says.
Okay.
I just listened to the latest episode, Carousel of Progress, more like Tomorrowland, because we called it Carousel of Podcast. Yeah. I think it was one of your best ones, even when it got all serious, which was your speech, which yes. I think was the best part of the episode. I love the balance of silly and serious. It's a good fit. Tomorrowland sucks. There's nothing tomorrow about it. I agree it needs some sort of expo, but this is Bob Iger's Disney. We need to shoehorn in some IPs. Here's my idea how to do that, but also get the message across about using technology as a tool, not a crutch. The Axiom experience. In the queue, we recap the story of Wall-E, and then he basically just listed off an entire, like, he came up with his own rehab for the queue line, the entire ride system.
Yeah, you sent me the email,
such
and
I
went over it, and I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Why isn't he running this show instead of us? But
well, should we read the whole thing?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, don't read the whole thing, but get the important parts.
Okay, so in the queue, we recap the story of Wall-E and how pollution and trash overran the planet. The Axiom is turned into at this point, now that we've landed on Earth, the Axiom is now a museum where the next generation of humans can see how their ancestors lived on the ship. That's great. That's a great way to welcome people in.
And it's a good way to give a refresher or give a brief overview to people who have not seen Wall-E.
Yeah. You enter a theater, which is designed as a shuttle that takes you up to the Axiom in space. Once there, the seats turn into trackless vehicles, like Ellen's Energy Adventure. Like big driving theater seats.
Sure.
But they'd be like trackless ride vehicles. You could see out of these things, but there's a dome and a heads-up display. So cover like a trackless ride vehicle, but it has like Haunted Mansion cover over.
I was going to say, like the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride in Japan.
Yeah, where you can only see what they want you to see.
Exactly.
This could also be an Earth bounce tour. I'm not sure what they mean by that, but we miss out on the view of space if we do that. So
I think Earth bounce, like Soarin', where you bounce from one location to the next.
Ah.
Or at least that's my guess. I don't know.
So they said it's do it like Horizons, where you choose your destination. Everyone can vote, but majority rules. The choices are the pool lounge, the robot infirmary, and the captain's quarters and bridge. The hangar bay, the observatory. I held up my fingers because I thought it was only 3, but they wrote a lot more. The outer edge, which takes you to the ship. So each one will contain some of the iconic characters. You only visit 3, which means multiple rides like Star Tours. Unlike an Omnimover, the seats break off and go into different directions. So while all our theater seats, like, everyone would vote differently, and maybe 2 go this way, maybe 1 goes that way, which might be pretty cool. There's like Sigourney Weaver voiceover, like, try orange, it's the new red. Your vehicle lights up orange if the majority of the riders choose it. Like little interactive touches like that. Outside the ship can be random space shots. Of course, we have to see Wally and Eve doing a little ballet.
Yes. We have to see them doing the exact same thing they did in the movie, even though it doesn't make sense that they'd be doing that.
Yeah.
But we have to see it because it was in the movie.
As always with Disney rides, something goes terribly wrong. And we have to do something with the buttons in front of us. The captain could tell us what to do, maybe like a game of Simon, like push the colors in order. Perhaps the pool area does that thing where it dips and it feels like you're sliding. Maybe an I Spy game, like Mo is missing. If you see Mo, press the locator button in front of you. I love that. That sounds fun.
Cute.
Like, that's just part of
you know what
ride.
else that is? That's easy for kids to do. So that's like, that's a fun thing.
Just pushing the button.
There's a little Mo animatronic or something, and whenever you see it, whenever your vehicle's pointing towards it, you just, boop, you get a point or whatever.
Yeah, just a ding, one thing pops
thing.
up. The high score for today, 1! The experience could be geared towards the concept of real interaction and not technology interactions, as in, get off your damn phones.
Yes.
Wally has a lot of lessons to be taught for what could be considered future, or wait for it, tomorrow. They could also just turn most of Tomorrowland into a representation of the movie Tomorrowland. He came up with one last thing here, which is change Tom Sawyer's Island. Okay. God knows this needs something. Probably a complete makeover, rehab. He says Isle of the Lost. Make it like the movie, the TV movie Descendants, where all the villains were banished to go have kids or whatever. Many of these villains now have stores or restaurants. Like, duplicate that on Tom Sawyer's Island, like Jafar's Hummus.
Jafar's Hummus stand?
He wrote Jafar's Hummus, Ursula's Fish and Chips, Facilier's Bayou Gumbo, Hades Charbroil, etc. I love those. What else would you have?
Well, what other villains
Scar's Fried Mice.
Scar's Fried Mice.
Remember eat some mouse?
Yeah.
Or he tries to.
Who are the other? Who are the other villains?
Who are the other villains? What's her name?
Mother Gothel.
Mother Gothel's Angel Hair Pasta.
That's not bad. But
should we look up like?
I think a villains themed restaurant that would encompass everything, and then have, or is that what he was saying?
Maleficent's mint ice cream. That didn't work.
Maleficent mint ice cream?
Yeah.
Maleficent mint ice cream? Oh my god, that's terrible. That's so terrible, I feel like Disney would use it.
Mother Willow's tree bark. She's not a villain.
Mother Willow's bark.
Eat pieces of me.
It's got the chocolate bark and stuff, almond bark or whatever, and you just like rip it off her. Delicious.
She smiles and goes, "Ow, my child."
Mother Willow. It's actually, ladies and gentlemen, we here at the Epcot Genetic Laboratory have made a tree that talks, and it has edible bark.
Can you eat it?
Yes, but it screams when you pull the bark off.
Okay, good. All of these are quick service eateries. Since the island is closed at night, they can use it as a show. In the series, descendants, there's a spell protecting the island so villains cannot escape that turn into a music and light show. I don't know, I know it doesn't fit the Liberty Square Frontierland. Oh no, something doesn't fit the theme of the land.
No.
How awful.
I can't believe that's going to happen to all the parks now, and it doesn't matter because the only person who cared about theme was Walt Disney, and he's been dead for 40 years.
Yeah, he said car-powered vehicles, and I think he says gas-powered cars, and Pixar rides don't belong in Tomorrowland. Keep up the good work, or just the work. What does that mean?
Thank you. I think he's encouraging us to continue, even if we're not doing that great. I think that's all very brilliant. I love the idea of a ride with more interactivity, and I think Wally's pretty close to a Disney vision of the future.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
I would love a Wally
Not necessarily the movie Disney, but the attitude that Wally has, the whole environmentalist message, and the people becoming distant from each other, and then of course the movie's about humanity reconnecting itself and becoming less reliant on technology, and so on and so forth.
That's the most bizarre thing to me, and I was thinking this earlier, is that Wall-E was like a well-received movie.
Yeah.
And it did very well, and it got like nominations and stuff.
Even outside of it being a Disney movie, it was still a very well-received movie.
But then why don't, do you realize that there's like half the Pixar movies they just don't do stuff with? Like, almost every Pixar movie has done super well, but then there's stuff like Wall-E where it's like, do they just not know what to do with it? Like, even, it's always Toy Story or Cars. And that's like 90% of what Pixar stuff is represented.
What was the other thing?
That was Descendants.
The Disney
Isle of the
Exile.
Lost.
I love that. I think that the villains in the park are completely underrepresented. I think that we get a lot of them appearing as parts of the main character story, and yes, we have the not-so-scary Halloween party where they show up, but in terms of them getting their own space, there's almost nothing.
People always ask us to do come up with a fifth gate, and I think we will do one of those episodes, because everyone and their dog has done an episode on a fifth gate where they make up their own ideas, and we tried to do something a little bit different. We might do a fifth gate thing, but I think the general consensus was give villains their own thing. Make a park about the beauty underneath of do you ever yearn to go across the place you dare not know, or whatever the lyrics are.
The thing about Disney villains, yes, they're cartoonish villains, but I think a lot of people see something sympathetic about them. Sometimes, yes. For whatever reason, sometimes people see them and they're like, I relate to that. Maybe it's just, someone came up with a theory once that all the Disney villains are they're flamboyant and silly, and they all represent gay. They all are, but I feel like that's just an archetype of villains in general. Outside of Disney, there's lots of villains that are flamboyant and effeminate and such, and maybe that's just us as a marginalized demographic identifying with that and being the villains are the good guys of their own stories. And maybe that's the theme you could go with. The villains are the good guys of their story.
Now we have Disney. We have a joke musical themed around that, which is the Star Kids Twisted.
Yes,
which has a whole number about each villain and how it's they're the good guys of their stories.
And that's
except Cruella de Vil, who just wanted to skin puppies and make a jacket.
That is different.
But
she is the only one who is genuinely evil. Except
now
maybe
have
Chernabog, who's the devil. But anyway.
I was about to say Chernabog isn't Chernabag.
Could you imagine a giant Chernabog mountain at the center of where Tom Sawyer Island is, and you can see it all over? That'd be great. Also, who the f*** knows who Tom Sawyer is anymore? Do kids even have to... we know who Tom Sawyer is because we're educated gentlemen who know about books. You don't even have the Adventures of Tom Sawyer in your collection of classics.
Great illustrated classics. Yeah, that's weird. I could have sworn I had one.
I would be happy with getting rid of Tom Sawyer's Island. And yes, I know, Walt... what Walt would have wanted. I'm sure Walt would have preferred to have a book as opposed to a movie for that there. But,
I'm all for just getting rid of Rivers of America. I
want Villain Land. I want a place where people who love the bad guys get together. Because that's the other thing. All the parks, there's no place for the appreciation of the villains. Even
Galaxy's Edge is almost gonna have that.
Not really, though.
Let's go to the wonderful world of psychotic reviews! Because we have a bunch of 1-star reviews on iTunes.
Oh, yeah.
Which, listen, we love constructive criticism.
But it has to be... actually, yeah, we have... I think even some of these 1-star reviews...
We have 1 3-star review. And that person did not leave a comment. But everything is either 1 star or 5-star. And there's almost no in between. We have no 2 or 4.
Yes.
So we have people who desperately love this show.
You should say desperately love this show.
Yeah.
We have people who love this show.
Yeah.
Who enjoy the fun of it and enjoy the just sort of the conversational aspect of it, where it's just we sit down and we talk. And then there are people who are like, this is garbage. Why aren't they rehabbing?
This is terrible and you should feel terrible.
Yes.
Anyways, this one says...
No, we have to say their username as well.
This one comes from Jess1874.
The year they were born.
Who says... same lame Disney show, everyone is already done.
Yes. Yes, I agree with that.
The reason I wanted to do this was because I couldn't find anything similar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't find a show where people are like, okay, here's an existing ride, we're going to reskin it with another thing, what would we do? But anyways, they say... Another in the cavalcade of horrible WDW&T shows. They cover the topics you're tired of hearing everywhere else with a production value, this is my favorite part, with a production value that makes it sound like it was recorded in a trash can by a raccoon with an outdated copy of Audacity. Why do people listen to this crap? I have to give them just like... I have to give them an appreciation for just the sheer creativity of that.
Yeah,
sentence.
Oh, absolutely.
What a beautiful visual that needs a t-shirt.
I was about to say, I want to draw like raccoons in a trash can gnawing on a mic or something. Yeah, exactly.
It's like headphones accidentally.
It'll be a great. That'll become our new logo.
I go back and I read that one. I actually put that on our website. I was just it was just so creative. The way they described us.
And listen, even if we're inspiring hatred, if we're inspiring creativity through hatred, then it's fine.
I'm sure Hitler said that at some point.
Anyways,
this next one comes from Gecko68, year they were born.
Sketch.
Our lizard left a review.
Yeah, a 1-star review. He hates it. He wants us to stop.
This one is interesting. I just want to say, I'm not reading these to just make fun of the people who dislike it.
No!
Some of what they're saying is a little bit...
it's valid criticism. Sometimes
is valid and a little bit comical, just the way that they're describing it.
Well, it's... sorry, before you get into this, I just want to say, I think it's kind of funny that people get upset over this podcast.
Yeah.
That people take it so seriously and they get upset about it. And that's kind of interesting to me. I want to know how that person's brain works and why it matters so much to them. But anyways, continue.
This one is, they say, more idiocy than Rehab.
Yes.
I just listened to all of the available episodes. This podcast is horrible.
Fair enough.
It's like listening to 2 lobotomized 4-year-olds. The sound quality is all over the place. There is no volume equalizing. Fair. The hosts know little about Disney and talk about rides they never went on or just watched POV videos on. Tyler, that's me, comes off more of an idiot than any kind of innovative thinker. Although they are truly blue skying the parks, their ideas are not Imagineer level and border on plain stupidity.
Yes.
They are attempting to be creative, but lose sight of their focus very easily.
Yes.
If you are looking for real imaginative people discussing potential rehabs, this is not the podcast for you. If you want to hear 2 bumbling and babbling hosts stumble through park rehabs, then bon appetit.
Hey.
Let's unpack some of this.
Well,
Okay, the lobotomizing 4-year-olds. Wow, that's offensive. The sound quality is all over the place.
Well,
we do not have a professional.
So it's not that offensive.
Oh, okay, we don't have a professional setup. We're using the kind of tools we have, which is a very nice microphone and the editing software that we use.
A moderate quality microphone.
Moderate quality microphone that most people on like YouTube and stuff use.
It is a trusted brand microphone.
We don't make money off of this show. We do this show because we wanted to do a podcast and share our ridiculous ideas and have a little bit of fun. So we're not telling you we're not getting money, and we're not able to hire an editor. It'd be great to hire somebody to really delve into these episodes and, you know, make them supreme quality. I think a lot of people enjoy the fact that we just record these, we put our ideas out there, and, you know, we share what kinds of ridiculous fun concepts we have. Mm-hmm. But anyways, the whole thing about you not going on rides, yeah, okay, well, you go with Tom and he'll throw up on your lap.
Well, I was going to say that I want to draw attention to that specifically because, yes, as we know, I'm a little pansy boy who can't go on.
That's so mean to say about yourself.
Yeah, but I said it about myself, so it's okay.
Oh, okay.
I can't go on certain rides, or I'm not ready to go on certain rides yet. I'm sure at one point my life will become such a calloused, hollow shell that I'll be like, I need to just feel something, and I'll go on Splash Mountain just so I can feel the thrill of dropping. But anyways, but that view tells me that not tells me, but it's reductive to say that these rides are only good if you ride them,
or you can only talk
appreciate them and talk about them if you go on them. When I think there's a lot more to appreciate about these rides there's a lot more to appreciate about many of these rides than just going on them and just riding
saying
them.
I've been on it, now I can talk about it.
Yeah, I think that it's perfectly valid to be like, I haven't been on this ride, but I love the theming of it. Expedition Everest.
Yeah.
Expedition Everest, I haven't been on it, but the theming, even just to the queue line, is still a major part of that ride and part of what makes it good, because it is technically a generic coaster, but it's the presentation again. It's not about it's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
It's about the appreciation of it rather than the experience, maybe.
Exactly. It's about the appreciation of it as opposed to the experience of it. And as we know, I'm a bitter. I almost said shill, but that's the exact opposite. I'm a bitter nihilist who does not agree with the Disney vision and who sees Disney as nothing more than the corporation that they are.
Yeah.
That one day they're going to absorb all the other media into them, and then we're gonna get Mickey enforced curfews or whatever.
Anyway.
But I do like that this also had some very legitimate criticisms, which is we don't do a lot of rehabbing. Fair.
We've done our best
realized
that, and
we've done our best
to
sure that crack down and try and get it more.
They say we lose focus very easily. Well,
also,
yeah, we know that. Anyways,
that's it.
If you want to hear two bumbling and babbling hosts stumble through Park Rehab's The Bon Appetit, I think we've pretty much established that's what this show is.
I think that's the thing. If you're looking for like a serious show where we sit down, we're like, yes, we're going to use the Type A roller coaster for this, and then we're going to use titanium beams to support it, and so it's soundless, and so that way when we do a shell thing, we can do this, and then that's not us. We're here to throw neat ideas at you, or maybe just inspire creativity. We're just doing what we can with what we've got.
We've said in the first episode, we are not professionals and we are not engineers.
Yes.
So we're just, anyways.
We're just doing this as best we can.
Bon appetit.
That was a harsh but fair criticism. I'll take it.
Okay, this one comes from Mike Disney. Oh my God, someone!
Mike Disney
that's
himself.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Mike Disney.
Whiplash. That was a good movie. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
Less caffeine, more research, new hosts that don't skip half the attractions because they're too loud, fast, or high. Again, let Tom puke in your lap. Also, that's all the good attractions the hosts miss because they are lightweights. This show needs overhauling worse than Epcot.
Wow. I mean, kind of fair, I guess. Skipping over the best rides. All right.
Who is at this bus stop? Let's see who else can do this podcast. Because, they said new hosts. We've been waiting here for an hour, and this bus to Epcot still hasn't shown up yet. There's been that same minivan with the police lights. I think it's driven by like 5 or 6 times at this point.
Maybe we should
Each
leave.
time it gets a little bit slower. And the last time there was a guy holding 2 empty, very overpriced water bottles going, "Ride Rehab!
Come out
And play!" I thought that was just a coincidence, but I'm getting very worried about where we're sitting right now. So
Let's get out of here.
yeah, let's get out of here.
I know where they'll never find us.
Where?
Universe. Again.
No,
I'm
no.
kidding.
We can go wait 4 hours for Hagrid's monster bike. I don't know.
Hagrid's Monster Bike. That's what it is.
Anyways, thank you for listening to this Epcot Revisited and more episode of Ride Rehab. Be sure to visit riderehab.com, where you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere that you listen to podcasts or see and hear information about your favorite podcasts. We love hearing feedback, so email us at riderehab@wdwnt.com, or you can also just tweet to us directly, send us messages on Facebook. We do our best to respond back to as many of them as we possibly can. If you're looking for more up-to-the-date news, daily photo reports connecting you to the park so you can see what's still functioning and operating and what's open and closed at Disney World, be sure to go to wdwnt.com, especially with D23 coming up. If you want up-to-the-minute information as well as complete overviews of everything that's happening, be sure to check it out. That's wdwnt.com or at wdwnt on social media. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Ride Rehab. I'm Tyler Mann.
And I'm Thomas Kiernan.
And we'll see you on our next episode. I don't have a sign-up phrase.
We don't need one.
It's that. It's
That's
just that.